What's up YouTube? Scotty Tradition, back with another video. Thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about the 1961 Fleer basketball set. I recently purchased a card at the National in Chicago, the 1961 Fleer Bill Russell in PSA 3. Really nice looking card there. So was excited to find that one. And that's the fourth card of that set that I now have in the collection. So I thought I'd just take a moment to talk about the set a little bit. Obviously, it's a beautiful set. The color patterns are awesome. The logos are old school awesome. Many of these logos are not even used anymore, so there's kind of a cool historical significance to those. As far as the set goes, it's a 66 card set, with the first 44 being regular cards, and then the final 22 cards are in action cards. And the set goes in alphabetical order from the player's last name. You can see Bill Russell's number 38 of the first 44 cards in the set. And the set was released in equal distribution, so there's no, short prints or funky high numbers or things like that in the set. Generally, they were released on a 1-to-1 ratio, so technically there's not one card that's more rare than the other. Within the set itself, of the 44 cards, 24 of those are Hall of Famers. So basically the set is loaded with Hall of Famers, kind of like the 86 Fleer basketball set. I think the reason for that in 61 is because there wasn't a set for the 4 or 5 years before it. The last set before it was the 1957 Topps set, so just a ton of backlog of rookies came out in that 61 Fleer set. And of those cards, in the late 90s, an NBA Top 50 list was released, and 12 of the top 50 players from that list are in this set. Their rookie cards are in this set, so pretty cool. There's just a lot of great cards in the set, and then you combine that with the logos and the color patterns, and it's just a great set overall. So I was excited to grab this Bill Russell at the National. Now, the most expensive card in the set is going to be the Wilt Chamberlain card. And then probably after that would be the, I would say the Jerry West, but that's not exactly true in high grade, because there were some cards, generally cards number 1 through 6, were a little more condition sensitive. They're not more rare, but they are more condition sensitive in high grade for whatever reason. So, and that includes the Elgin Baylor card, which is kind of a sought after card in that set. So I did a little research, and the most expensive card in PSA 8 is the Wilt Chamberlain, which goes for around between $40,000 and $45,000. So pretty hefty card in PSA 8. I was fortunate enough to pick up this guy earlier this year in a grade of a 3, which I am plenty happy with. I mean, this is a gorgeous card for a PSA 3. I mean, I honestly can't imagine wanting a better card than that. So I'm kind of looking for these great eye appeal cards in mid-grade right now. So, but in an 8, this Wilt Chamberlain's going to cost you about $40,000 to $45,000, and the Bill Russell, for instance, is going to cost you about $3,500 in an 8. So that's how much more the Wilt goes for in an 8. Of course, it is Wilt's rookie. It's not Bill Russell's rookie. And then the second most valuable card in the set, you'd think would be the Jerry West rookie, but I was surprised that it's actually the Elgin Baylor. The Elgin Baylor in a PSA 8 goes for about $20,000, and that is because the card is just that much more rare in PSA 8 than its contemporaries in PSA 8. So I'll go through the pop report of PSA 8s here at the end of the video. But we'll show the other 2 cards that I have in the collection. Here's the first one I ever picked up, and that was the Oscar Robertson. Got this one in a little higher grade, in a PSA 6. The Oscar in a PSA 8 goes for about $11,500, so still only about a quarter of what the Wilt Chamberlain goes for, which is wild to me that the Wilt Chamberlain would go for 4 times as much as Oscar Robertson. I mean, both of those guys are like some of the best players in NBA history. So I don't know why 4x on Wilt, but doesn't make too much sense. as you hear when I go through the pop reports in PSA 8, it'll become pretty clear how undervalued Oscar Robertson is in the hobby. And then the last one, picked this up at the National too, and that is the Jerry West rookie in a PSA 4. Beautiful looking card in a 4 there. In a 4, the Jerry West rookie goes for very similar to what the Oscar goes for in a PSA 8, and that's about 11.5K. So again, not as much as you think, and again, only a quarter of what the Wilt goes for, and about half of what the Elgin Baylor goes for. So the Baylor and the Wilt are kind of the two kings of this set, which is kind of wild to me. And so if you look at the populations of the PSA 8s, the Wilt Chamberlain has the most universal pop for PSA 8, and that is 213. Then the next most common would be the Bill Russell with 189. Then the Jerry West at 183. And then actually the Oscar Robertson at 130. So the Oscar Robertson, there's 80 less PSA 8s than the Wilt, and yet it's still only a quarter of the price. So that is just a wild stat. That doesn't make too much sense to me. I think the Oscar is criminally underrated, and he was just an amazing NBA player. It's not like he's a top 100 player. Like, he's probably a top 20, 25 player in NBA history. So it's just wild to me that there's that huge price disparity. And then last but not least, the Elgin Baylor, there's only 81 in PSA 8. So that's less than, it's like a third really of the numbers that the Wilt has. So that scarcity in PSA 8 really contributes to that Elgin Baylor being worth a lot of money in high grade. But I got to tell you, the 61 set is, I think, just a beautiful set to collect. And again, I'm going to try to work for at least getting the Baylor and possibly the Bob Cousy yet, and kind of round out the headliners of that set. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any of the inactions yet or anything like that, or any of the other rookies in the set. But I think it's a cool set to collect, and it is definitely a little bit underrated, I think. And I couldn't be happier with the 4 that you see in front of you right now. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Got a little more history on the 61 Fleer set, and hopefully I can find those other 2 cards I'm looking for in the future. Let me know if you have any 61 Fleers yourself, or if you've ever tried to collect this set, or what you think about that huge price disparity between Oscar and Wilt. I think that's just a wild price disparity. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the comments, and we will talk to you again soon.